Justin Fields. Why, in your opinion, is Fields the best fit?
A guy that we know can lead, has an athletic skill set, has got good experience.
Brett, the Jets have a new quarterback. It is Justin Fields.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. We're talking about the New York Jets in today's video. I saw something that was absolutely fascinating, and it was a graphic of 3 straight years a quote-unquote bust has bounced back at the quarterback position. It began 3 years ago with Geno Smith in Seattle. It began 2 years ago with Baker Mayfield in Tampa, and then finally, most recently, Sam Darnold and the Minnesota Vikings last year. So the graphic was, just a little bit of Jets hype. It was a picture of Justin Fields saying this guy is up next. Now, yesterday, or actually 2 days ago, so today it's May 22nd, the Jets are currently in their 3rd OTA practice. We are actually covering it, but I don't know. I'll let local media do that. People didn't really care about it. So anyways, during the Jets' first OTA practice on Tuesday, Justin Fields hit a top sprint speed of 21.86 miles per hour wearing a GPS tracking vest. This is the fastest sprint speed at a Jets practice since they began tracking it all the way back in 2017. Now, I get it. All he's wearing is a helmet. He's not wearing pads. The Jets guys, you're at these practices. They're not even mandatory, by the way. You're just practicing. You're just going through it. You're installing your scheme. So nobody's hitting. You don't have pads on. So I get it. But the point is, Justin Fields is very fast. And I went back and I watched some film and I did some research because, my whole spiel on this channel is, I've got a Justin Fields Steelers jersey behind me. I am a Green Bay Packers fan. I'm a diehard Green Bay Packers fan. But I also was born and raised in the Chicagoland area. So when I was in college, I was watching Justin Fields every single Sunday because, that's what was on, and my roommates, right? Everyone was a Bears fan. We're watching Bears football. So I don't have a hate for Justin Fields. I don't have a disdain for him in any shape or form. In fact, it's the complete opposite. I think like every other Bears fan out there, Justin got a horrible draw, right? And now we know where you land matters. It's obvious in retrospect that where you land matters. And unfortunately for Justin, they just didn't surround him with that much. And then we're even going to talk about Pittsburgh and the Jets' future here, all in today's video. But before you do, hit that like button, hit that sub button for daily NFL content. Folks, we're just kind of rambling today. I hope you enjoy it. So, we post a bunch of Jets content on this channel, so check that out down below. But anyways, I was looking back and I looked into the 2022 season for Justin Fields because he actually technically finished 9th in MVP voting. Now, that was the season where Patrick Mahomes, I think he had 48, maybe he had 49 of it. I don't believe he won unanimously, but that was a Patrick Mahomes, another MVP season. And Justin Fields that year ended up ranking 9th. And I thought it was fascinating because the Chicago Bears went 3-12 that season. And I looked back at who they had, and it really is terrible. It really was bad. Just for example, Cole Kmet, the tight end who, still is with Chicago, led the team in receiving yards. And, once again, he's a tight end and he led it with like 544 receiving yards. But anyways, Justin Fields in that season threw for 17 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. He had a 60.4% completion rate and he got sacked 55 times, which means he had a sack percentage of 15%. So 15% of Justin Fields dropbacks, he literally got sacked. It was breaking records. It broke so many records. And so you go back and you look at his receiving or his rushing season, 160 attempts, almost 1,200 yards, 8 touchdowns. Justin Fields, the quarterback, averaged 76.2 yards per carry. But what was even better about looking into that was there was like a string of football games early on in that year where he was like balling out. So there was a 7-game stretch where he was playing against teams like the Philadelphia Eagles, the Dallas Cowboys, San Francisco, Buffalo. 3 years ago, those teams were all creme de la creme. I know some of them have gotten a little bit older and fallen off like Dallas and San Francisco, but those were 4 Super Bowl teams right there. In 7 games, Justin threw 11 touchdowns, 3 rushing touchdowns. He had 1 interception, just 1 interception, 216 yards per game, 62.6 completion percent, and over 1,500 total yards. The issue people have with Justin Fields is they always look at the statistics. Now, I do agree you have to be able to throw the ball. right? And Justin, in his first 2 years with the Chicago Bears, only threw for 150 yards per game. So in their third and final season, I remember this so vividly because I was at this football game. It was the 2023 year. It was the home opener, the first game for the Chicago Bears, and they were playing the Green Bay Packers. And it was Jordan Love's first ever career start in post Aaron Rodgers. I know he had technically gotten a start, but it was Jordan Love's first start post Aaron Rodgers, and it was in Soldier Field. It was in Chicago. I was still living there at the time, and we went to it. And the Bears offensive coordinator was Luke Getsy, who was formerly the Green Bay Packers offensive coordinator. And I noticed right away that from our stands, that Justin Fields looked different in a bad way that season. And basically, just to make this quick, because we're rambling, they made Justin Fields with Luke Getsy, they tried to make him like a pocket guy. They tried to just make him a pocket QB. It ended up not working out. He did get it going towards the end of the season of 2023, and that's why a lot of people didn't even want them to get rid of him, and they wanted the Bears to once again trade the number 1 pick, and now thankfully for them, they have Caleb Williams. But that was just... My point is the dysfunctionality with that team, it's obvious. And so Justin went from 1,200 rushing yards in that MVP 9th place season all the way down to 600 in that Luke Getsy offensive coordinator year. And so he goes to Pittsburgh and he goes 4-2 in his first 6 games with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And then unfortunately, Russell Wilson comes back healthy and they throw him on the bench. So I think personally, Justin Fields did not have a good offensive line in any of his 4 years of football. And the big nitpick I will say as a Green Bay Packers fan is people say he can't read defenses. He can't read the field. As a Packers fan talking about the Chicago Bears, their offensive line was that bad. And the Pittsburgh Steelers offensive line, I mean, honestly, if you ask any Steelers fan, they probably didn't like their O-line at any point last year. It was and still is extremely young, but specifically in the first month or so for Pittsburgh with Justin starting those games, it was not a good offensive line, or I should say it was very inconsistent, unreliable offensive line. And he still, in the loaded AFC, led the Pittsburgh Steelers to a 4-2 record. Now, there was, in that 2022 season, I think that stretch is a big reason why Aaron Glenn wanted this guy. Like, just to give you, here's the 2022 Bears. Cole Kmet led the team in catches or receiving yards at 544. Behind him was Darnell Mooney, 493. Equinemius St. Brown was the 3rd leading receiver for the Chicago Bears in 2022. And no disrespect to E, but he's not like his brother. So, folks, my point is, I am so amped about Justin Fields to the New York Jets. I think it fits perfectly. I think it fits this whole young kind of chip on their shoulder where the Jets went out there and they made a bunch of moves in free agency for guys coming off like their rookie contracts. I think it's a really good culture for all these people that maybe just didn't fit in to their former teams. And it's also extremely young. There's like 2 players. There's 3 players, I believe, over the age of 30 and only 1 player over 31. It's insane. So I really like what the Jets are doing. And I just wanted to give you my opinions as a Green Bay Packers fan on why I think Justin Fields deserves 1 full year at minimum with this team. I can't wait. Let me know what you guys are thinking about Justin and the Jets down below. Give me a loose win total if you had to. And that's it for me. Hit that like button. Have a great weekend. We'll see you soon.